fucking shit, you guys! I'm driving a car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died!
There's a video going around online of a liberal woman having a screaming meltdown over the death of r.g.b.
Phooey.
Now, can we be clear about something? If Trump fills this seat, the chances of Roe versus Wade being overturned are nearly zero. I say nearly zero only because I hedge my bets a little bit. They're basically zero. Roe versus Wade is not going to be overturned. There are not 5 votes for it. So all of the panic, the insane panic you see from Democrats over this seat is because what they want the Supreme Court to be is a green light for every Democratic priority, and they are afraid of anyone appointed to the court who will in any way provide some sort of speed bump in their pursuit of power. That's all this is. And so here's this liberal crazy lady screaming about r.g.b.
Could this year get any f***ing worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021!
Okay, so why you would film this and then put it online, except that this does channel a lot of what Democrats are feeling, because for them, the Supreme Court is a tool of power. It was never supposed to be just another member of the triumvirate of checks and balances, executive, legislative, and judicial. This is unreasonable behavior. It is not reasonable behavior. Nobody on the Republican side reacted this way when Sonia Sotomayor filled the seat. If Merrick Garland had been confirmed by the Republican Senate, people would have been upset. Would it have been screaming fits like this? I have serious doubts. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for all of our disagreements, and we had many of them, obviously, I disagree with her politics thoroughly and profoundly. She devoted decades of her life to public service. She was responsible for some things that I think everyone can agree with, including the forwarding of women's rights in the workplace. A lot of those things are very good. And her passage should be met with national mourning, of course. This, of course, however, raises the greatest, I think, constitutional crisis that I've seen in modern American history. Not because of what the Republicans are going to do, fill the seat, but because of what Democrats are threatening to do. For Democrats, unfortunately, it has become the case that the institutions of the United States government are an obstacle to them. And when they are an obstacle, they seek to destroy the obstacle. This is why over the past several years since Trump was elected, they've talked about abolishing the Electoral College. They've talked about completely redoing the Senate or abolishing the Senate altogether. They're now talking about packing the Supreme Court. They were talking about that a year ago. Now, even Ruth Bader Ginsburg was not opportunist enough to believe that packing the court was a good idea. Right? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, all the way back in 2016, I believe, was specifically asked about packing the court, and here is what she said at the time.
I have heard that there are some people on the Democratic side who would like to increase the number of judges. I think that was a bad idea when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt tried to pack the court. If anything would make the court appear partisan, it would be that. One side saying, when we're in power, we're going to enlarge the number of judges, so we will have more people who will vote the way we want them to.
Okay, so even Ruth Bader Ginsburg recognized the threat to the institutions. The old school liberals, however, are no longer in control of the Democratic Party. They don't believe in the institutions of the Constitution. They believe in overthrowing them. Institutions for the Democratic Party are of no interest. They don't like the structural Constitution because they don't like the fundamental philosophy underlying the structural Constitution, which is that of limited government and checks and balances that protect your rights. The Constitution was written for a very specific purpose. That purpose was to protect the principles of the Declaration of Independence. And the basic idea was that a government that is unitary in nature, a government that has unified power at the top and no checks and balances, either hierarchically with the states or horizontally between the branches, was going to infringe upon your rights. Democrats believe the government should infringe upon your rights because your rights come from government. And a government big enough to give you what you want is a government that is also big enough to take away what you have. Democrats have always seen these institutional checks and balances as a problem. And Joe Biden knows this, right? Joe Biden knows that the more Democrats fulminate over this, the more they look radical, the more they look scary. It becomes a referendum on what the Democrats will do, not on Donald Trump's weirdness. Because here's the thing. What Donald Trump's doing right now is perfectly normal. Every single president who has ever encountered a Supreme Court opening has nominated a human to fill that opening. Every single one. So Donald Trump is right now doing the most normal thing he has ever done in his presidency. Donald Trump is being extremely normal. I know. Sentence I never thought I would say. What he's doing right now is the most normal thing he has ever done in his entire presidency, bar none. A seat has been opened. He is filling the seat. Democrats are now the party of radicalism. Democrats are now the party of not normal. It is not normal to threaten to impeach somebody just to hold up the Senate process. It is not normal to say that with 51 votes, you're going to pass whatever legislation you want, including full states with their own sets of senators. That is not normal. You don't get to claim Donald Trump is a threat to America's core institutions while simultaneously threatening to violate every single norm and completely change the structure of the balance of power and the institutions themselves. You can't do that.